All right, we are back. What's up, y'all? KTOD Maddie hitting you with the only, what's up, Jake? The only correct, how could you ever think otherwise? Legends of the Force, tier list, premiere focused. Man, I think this is a great set. I'm really excited to dive in and kind of give my thoughts on the leaders and get you started on your worlds and set 5 meta prep. I think that there's like 2 leaders that have really risen to the top for me in terms of viability just across the board at worlds. However, I think there's a lot of really strong niche or like waiting to be unlocked leaders that's really exciting. And then obviously I'm going to have my takes, my B tier takes, if you will. So without further ado, let's see if I can get this right on the first time. All right, got it on the first try. First leader, Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren, to me, man, I love the design here. I think it's really cool to be able to build your deck around upgrades now in a more, I want to say productive, relevant way than, man, my boy Mandalorian. Because you can cycle them like so in Magic there's a mechanic called cycle. You could either use it for what it was or just kind of ditch it for a cheaper cost. I love the cycle ability here. Greedily, I wish this guy deployed on 6, but I totally get why he's at 7. That said, I think he is, man, I think he's powerful. I think you can play him like in any color. I've specifically tried him in Command and in Cunning. Cunning has a lot of really cool ways to make him just bash in with snapshot reflexes, attacking right away. You have the I think it's called Ascension Cable or something to give it Saboteur to get through either shields or obviously just go right to base. Man, Constructed Lightsaber is colorless. You can do it anywhere. That's awesome on him. And then like Shadowed Intentions, putting Shadowed Intentions on Kylo means that all those events that would just kill him no longer do that. And also the new Broken Vader cannot shield him, ambush, and kill him with the ability because Shadow Intention says no thank you, sir. So pretty cool. I think the yellow one, I tried a more like blue villain control build, and I think it's solid. It just depends on the meta. Like it has some tough time in the late game against things like Crate Dragon and stuff like that. But like surprisingly, it's pretty good into blue green villain. So and then the other version is blue green villain, which lets you play all the good blue green villain cards and crave power and stuff like that. However, like I found that if you're running up against like Kira 33, that becomes kind of hard. But it's really cool, really powerful. I think there will be a spot to play him. And I think it's one of those leaders. Like I love the leaders that you can go back to every set and say, did we get new upgrades? Let's go check them out. Can we break Kylo this time? Another cool thing, and shout out to Ferrando from our Discord, was playing him with bounties. It's like, oh, do I want to bounty something? Nah, I'm good. I'll just chuck it and get a different card. I think that's also a cool way to do it. All right, next up is Ahsoka Tano. Man, like, I want there to be a sick Ahsoka leader, but I just don't think this one's it. Like, the main reason I am not in love with this mechanic is like you have to go and get the Force, and then you can give something Sentinel. So like that can kind of churn around later, but you're gonna run into some situations where you don't have the Force and you need to block the first attacker, and so like it's gonna get kind of clunky. When she flips, she's not like gonna completely run over the game. I just think that if we're going Sentinel leaders, like we have, Big Obi. For me, I think she's more of like she's gonna be really solid and limited. I think it's gonna churn out better that way. Really making all your guys sticky. I think that's awesome for there. I don't think she's cool in any way. Like the design, like a blue Sentinel leader. Like okay, I don't think she's powerful. And I don't think she's trash. I think like you're gonna like to play her at your pre-releases and your drafts, and I think that's okay. And like here we go. Here's a leader that when he does flip is a bit scary, right? Like Kanan has some interesting design. There's a lot of good creatures, and like shielding shielding for one resource, like we've seen that be good in the past. We've seen Stevie get a top 8 with Luke, right? Luke had some time in the meta. I don't think this is going to be premier relevant. I don't think there's enough creatures yet. I think that's, again, it's going to be a leader you come back to. Cool, but okay. I'm not sure. I think it's cool, but like probably just isn't good enough. I don't think it's trash. I think the design is very interesting to me. You know, it's another Spectre leader for your Hera stuff. That's important. And like you can play creatures and Spectres, but like we saw a lot of those big, clunky, spacey dudes. I don't really know how relevant like those whales are going to be. Shout out to the Space Whale crew. So yeah, I think Kanan, cool, but probably just not good. Could be good and limited, but I think like you can build around him. I think he's going to make some cool decks for like locals. And I would love if someone in the comments hits me with a Kanan list that is fire and says, Maddie, your takes are hot trash. Would love to hear it because I think it is a cool design. Like I like that the leader can flip and be like super strong. Like I love when you have a built-in bomb like that. Just a little skeptical, but he could get upgraded as time goes on. Morgan Elspeth. Here's another one. Kind of has like an Ahsoka problem in my mind of like you have to attack with the unit before you can do the thing. I think it's clunky. I like the keyword sharing. I like resource manipulation. I'm sure that in like we saw the double green guy with like 1 million keywords. Like there's definitely ways to make this work. So I'm gonna put her in cool, but like probably all right. Like, is this gonna be the best green villain leader you could be playing? Maybe not, but it could be like it's very niche. Like this could be like niche but cool. But I said cool but okay. Like I think there's decks that are gonna revolve around her, and if you're really, you really want to tout your Morgan Elspeth flag, I think you can do that. And like we have like that 6 cost ship that has 1 million keywords. Like that's pretty rad to get out a turn early and things like that. It's just like when the action like the action economy is clunky. I am nervous that you can like continually recoup on it. So I think it's going to be one of those things like when you're testing this, how many times do I need to trigger it to be like really broken and get me ahead? Because I think that's another thing. And we're going to see that with the force mechanic is like, maybe don't spin your wheels too much on one thing. Maybe you just find that like, if I just do this Morgan thing like 3 times in a game as opposed to every turn, I'm going to run away with it or something like that. So I'm going to say cool, but okay. Like I'm sure someone's going to have a pretty sweet version of this. But is that sweet version going to like trump all the other stuff? And, like she's probably similarly situated to Kylo, but like Kylo has this like doing that one big action turn where you're like flip Kylo, play all these things on him, all these effects happen. To me, that is like boom powerful. That is like combo type powerful. That I think just sets him aside from say the rest of these. Snoke. Just did a little Snoke testing this morning. I think Snoke is like in this same realm as like Morgan in terms of like there is a clear payoff here. Like the one thing that I like about Snoke, I think he's going to be solid and limited. The thing I like about Snoke is the qualifier is different. Like we have things like Rey that buffs a small baby. And we have, what the heck's his name? Tarkin, who is only Imperials. This is like, there's less of that qualifier in terms of what type of units you're playing. It's just, some people have described it as putting all your eggs in one basket, but I don't actually agree. I think you can spread it out by using value trading and then like the dude that moves experience tokens, right? That's pretty cool. Defeat one to get one. So I think like the lack of qualifier to me makes him a little stronger than normal. And like when he flips on 6, which I think is like is a good baseline. Like I'd obviously prefer 5, right? That's like the money game there. But like 6 with the green villain leader is not so bad because you have all that ramp. And he flips, he's got 7 booty. That's nice. He can attack, and if like he's the strongest thing out there, he pumps himself, so then he's like even bigger, which is dope. Throw a craving power on him. Now you're really cooking. So I'm gonna put him into like powerful. I think it will be meta dependent. Like Is he gonna beat the other like blue green villain control decks? I don't know, but if like those get pushed out and we go into like this more mid-range and aggro strategies, I think he could like really take off, right? Like a green CAD, something there, you know, what that was like a deck that like kind of fell under the wings and then had this like moment in the sun, right? I think it's kind of like something like that. But really strong. All right. Mother Talzin. Mother Talzin. And oh, Snoke is also like super solid and limited. This set is looking pretty balanced in terms of limited, by the way. More on that another day. Mother Talzin. Mother Talzin. Is she cool? I don't really know who she is, to be honest. But her ability is really strong. You know, getting the force going might be hard depending on what color scheme you're in. I think like the most popular ones right now are blue, red, and like maybe blue, yellow. Blue, red, definitely the most popular. I think she's gonna be premier relevant. The blue, like getting the force going, not that bad in blue, red, and like again, once you get it going, I think that's where she really shines. She's able to that 1/1 gets around shields. So sometimes people will do like, you know, the ambush or Hantu shield shenanigans where, you know, they put damage on something and then shield it. That can get through that, especially when she flips. The support around her, if you go in red, you get the force throw, the assassin, like that color scheme got a lot of help and already had some good cards in there. So like to me, I think blue red Talzin is going to be like, of these new leaders, I think is going to be like a premier meta relevant deck. And I think that like if I was wanting to play a different style of blue villain, I would definitely look at her. And you can do like the double, like you can use her to get the -1, then flip her and then attack and like finish something off. There's a lot of times where like people will live on like 1 health and she can manipulate combat in a way that you get a nice 2-for-1 when she attacks. So that's really powerful. And then like, you know, you get some of the big blue force units that are pretty strong. So meta relevant, I'd expect to see her in like some capacity at Worlds when comparing her to the rest of these Johnnies. Johnny come latelys. Avar Chris. Avar Chris is really cool design, but is she good? Is she powerful? I mean, kind of in a way. Like you always have the force. It just again, it's like kind of clunky action wise, but there are a lot of like, you know, when I first saw her and there wasn't as many things that like just triggered to use the force, like say the daughter or Chirrut, I was a little skeptical. But now with cards like that, it's like, okay, like I can have the force, trigger the force, give myself the force again, maybe, you know, trigger it again. Like you can actually churn out a few things. And then because she's in green, you can ramp. So then, you know, if you get to 6 resources and you burn the force 3 times, I know that's like a little high rolly, but like boom, she's out and ready to rock. And with her and like a force base, you can really make sure you have the force so she flips and is pretty big. I think she's definitely, like, power's there. I think she's cool. The power is definitely there. Will she be meta relevant like right off the gates? I'm not sure because like her flip is kind of slow. You know, blue green or blue red, or even like, I don't know about green green. I don't think there's enough payoff there yet. But is she going to be the best leader in those colors? I'm not 100% sure. So for me, I think like I'm just going to put her a cut below, like just her power strong. There are some qualifiers there in terms of like how early can you get her out? What, you know, what does she look like into aggro? She is a little slow there. How does she mitigate that? So I would say like definitely powerful at the bottom end of that tier right now. Honestly, I'm a little biased. Like Snoke is probably better than Kylo, but Kylo to me is like so freaking cool and fun that I'm putting him at the top. So hashtag bias, KTOD bias. They only push what they want. Yeah, Avar, very good. I would start with blue or red. I think those are the best payoffs there. I think Chirrut with her is like insane. I think Chirrut unit is like really, really good. And so that's where I'd go. Boom. ObiWan Kenobi to me is boom, right at the right meta relevant. I don't know if he's better than Talzin. I've really enjoyed this leader. And the cool thing about him is like I've played him in pretty much every color except for double command. And he's good. Like the blue version can do some similar things to like Rey. The yellow version is like this really cool tempo deck. If you start with the Padawan, you start with the 3/4, pretty sticky. You can get in there, get the train rolling with the attacks. And then you have like cards such as that like bounce spell. That's like a mini cunning. That's really cool. So I think Obi to me, because he's available in so many colors and because the just innate power of it is really solid, I think he's going to be meta relevant right off the bat. With these Force decks, like space can be something you have to look out for. So like being mindful, like I said earlier with like Morgan, right? Like how many, like, do you need to get the train rolling 100%, or is it okay to like take a turn off to like solidify your space and attack with something that's not Force? I think that if you're going to play Force, I think that the common bases are like significantly better than the rare ones. I think the rare ones are kind of trash, to be honest with you. There's niche applications for probably all of them except for maybe the yellow one. I don't understand that one. Hit me in the comments if you think that's a hot take. But like I think this guy plays in a lot of different colors, and like think about it this way: you get the Force and you play like Millennium Falcon with the yellow version on 2, and you have a 4/5 spacer. That seems pretty good. The blue under curving and pumping things up, getting a 3/3 shielded village people, pump like anything. It can like your Lukes later in the game get bigger and like can live through other things. It's just I think you can play him in any color. I've liked blue and red and yellow, all 3 of those combinations a lot. So I think that he is super strong. Darth Maul, deal damage unit, deal damage different unit. Cool, kind of cool. I don't know, like what's the payoff here? I attack with a Force unit and then I get to ping a couple things. In the scheme of the attrition war, like, he's cool. He's Maul. How can he not be cool? I don't think you can ever say Maul is not cool. But is he good? Is he okay? Man, I honestly, I'm if it wasn't Maul, maybe he'd go in the trash can. But I think he's just like not that exciting. Like maybe there's a double red version, you know, when you play Tarkin Town, you get ahead there. I don't know how much Force payoff we have early to like really get him rolling. Is he going to take over the game once he hits? I am not sure. Don't know. Is he good in limited? I mean, I think he's a starter guy, right? So I don't even know if you wouldn't get him beyond the first day. Oh no, he's not a starter. I think Revan. No, who are the starters? I forget. I think Qui-Gon and Maul though. I'm pretty sure. So cool, but probably not very good. I don't have that much to say on him. All right, Third Sister. Third Sister is really interesting. I thought Third Sister was gonna be insane, and I thought she was gonna be really bad, and I've kind of fallen into the middle on her. Getting hidden early is fine, right? There's not going to be a lot of like 3D chess in terms of when you need to get initiative. Like if you're on the play against an ECL deck, like hidden is relevant. So like, or when when you act first or whatever, there is something there. Like she insulates your guys from ambush. That's cool. I think the application that's really exciting to me is like more in the late game, where you've gotten your opponent down pretty significantly and you play like a bomb with hidden. And if they're not on like, a blue deck that can just point click kill somebody, you might be able to get them to have to claim early to deal with one of your threats, and then you can sneak in more damage. It's like, obviously she can't play. Well, let's use an example of like Kylo unit, like the big six attack that can be 8. Like if you get them pretty low and then you hide a Kylo and they can't, that will kill them. They got to freaking claim, and then you just hit them for damage, and now you have more threats online. So I think in the late game, she can kind of put your opponent in check in ways that I think is really interesting and can insulate people from ambush kind of in the mid game. So I think she's cool. I don't think she's bad. Like I'm sure someone's going to have a good version. Is she going to rise to like This level, I'm not sure there yet. I think that she is going to be one of those decks where when you build it out, you're finding yourself like, and I'm the only one playing X card. Like, I think you have to play a little bit of small ball with some of these decks. Like, I was playing like a grit strategy recently, and I'm like, man, like no one plays these cards. No one plays the 1/4 grit 2-drop guy on the scout bike or whatever his name is. Like, you're gonna have cards that feel a little bit like you're playing small ball, and sometimes that can get you there. But when you're playing against the decks that are just packed with value, especially when we're in set 5, it can be a little hard. So I'm gonna put her in the cool but okay. I'm sure someone has a really mean third sister deck that's gonna make my head spin. But I just think she's just like a cut below here for me personally. But you know, she's kind of like, you know, she could scare Var. She could scare her right off. I'm gonna put her here. Do I like her better than Morgan? Yeah, you know what? Third sister, top of the cool but okay. Final answer. Kit Fisto. Man, I know people like this dude. I think he's kind of bad. If you want to get him rolling, you can't necessarily always get the Force rolling because like some of the Jedi, like some of the early Force users aren't Jedi. You have like the crafty smuggler, and then like what I like about him is that he, you know, there's Jedi ships, and that gets him rolling. The thing I found with him is like he's flipping as a 1/6 on 5 or like a 2/6. And if you're gonna flip and have like 1 or 2 power, like I think 5's a little too late there. Like if he was like a 1/6 on 4, and you know you could put a blaster on him and kind of make him relevant, that's cool. But like you flip on 5 and like he gets ECL PO'd and does 1 damage back, like sayonara pal. I think your leader has to be pretty relevant. So this is my hottest take. I think Kit Fisto is kind of trash. I think he's overrated. Yeah, I don't think he's good. I think his like, is he going to be good in limited? Yeah, he might be good in limited. Boom. Hottest take there. Kit Fisto in the trash can. Comment section on fire. Ray, I'm just going to put her right in the trash bin. I don't understand the payoff here. She's too expensive. Her ability is not going to happen a lot. It's underwhelming. You discard your hand to draw 2 cards. Like, what are you going hellbent with your freaking 7 deploy leader? That, yeah, no thanks. Barris. Barris is definitely not limited relevant. She is not bad. She cheats resources. Man, she cool. Is she powerful enough? She's pretty powerful. I mean, being able to play a few, like being able to play 1-cost things for free that cycle themselves, like a free recruit or free psychometry or whatever, however you say it. Playing things like Overwhelming Barrage earlier, kind of offsetting some of the, what's it called? Offsetting some of the aspect penalty. Say if like you're on blue, like now you can vigilance for 5 resources. I think she's powerful. I don't know. I haven't been able to crack her yet. So I don't know what meta she falls into. I think she's better than cool but okay. I think there's going to be like a hidden Barris deck that I'm not seeing right now. And I think the action cheating could be kind of broken in the future as we get more 1-cost things. The downside is like you do have to have the Force. Sometimes the Force can be hard to get rolling depending on what pairing you're going with her. So TBD on Barris, but I think just like in terms of raw brute strength, I think there's something there. If you have a good Barris deck list for me to try out and then update, I would love to hear it. Grand Inquisitor, yeah, it's just very clearly a limited leader, and a very good one. Like you get the Force rolling, value trade, you have more units on the board, you're doing stuff. I don't think there's much to say there. Like I don't think this was designed for Premiere. Like you wouldn't play Jinner, so I think he's a little better, kind of deploy sooner. Yeah, I think he's like a limited, great limited. See you there. Cal Kestis. Man, I think the ability's cool. I like that he's a 4-cost. I know there's a lot of fans. Like, I just think he's bad, man. Your 4-cost leaders isn't very good. Yeah, you can put a blaster on him, but do I put him in trash? People are gonna get so mad at me. Cool but bad. Is he cool? I don't know. I mean, I like the little droid on his arm. I think that's neat. Cool design. It's okay. I don't like him. See ya. Qui-Gon Jinn. Man, I think we all thought Qui-Gon Jinn was going to be absolutely busted at the top. Like, this is where we thought he was going to be, right? Where is he actually? I think he's just, like, cool but okay. Like, I played a game where my opponent was, like, chaining redemptions, like, playing him and bouncing him and stuff, and, like, it didn't matter, which is kind of crazy to think about. I do think there's a way to make him insane, and, like, I think you can, like, his ability should be here, but in like practice, it's just feeling kind of bad. I'm actually gonna put Avar here now that I think about it. You are powerful, Avar. I like Avar. I mean, this is in the context of these leaders too. He's powerful. He's powerful. He's just kind of slow. More power. I mean, he has a cool ability. I think you're going to check back in with him every set. Like, sneak attacking something out, bouncing it, that's cool. It's just like, how can you take advantage of this enough? I'm going to put him in powerful, but meta dependent. I just don't. I think he's going to get run over a lot. I think he's a little slow. He's easy to disrupt, but there could be a place for him. And it is a really strong ability. It's really cool. So, yeah. Revan. Our single aspect leaders. I mean, outside of like playing ECL and doing like Revan Malik or whatever, and doing that like Sith blue card that like, you know, makes him scary. I think he's like cool, but I think he's just like not that great. I think that until we have like maybe bases that let you have 2 aspects, I think there's just like not enough going on to like completely fill out a deck list. So I'm going to put him in cool but bad. Exciting, interesting. Corey, I'm sorry. I didn't put him in trash tier. My local who loves Revan. I'm sure that people are going to come up with some cool decks, but I just don't think they're going to rise to the occasion come set 5 meta. Anakin. Again, like, I think that if it didn't say event non-unit, because it can be events, it can be upgrades. I think if it didn't say non-unit and just kind of went for it, it would be sick. But again, I think like the 1 aspect hurdle for your hero cards is a little hard to overcome, and then like you got to get the force churning, but you only have 1 aspect worth of force users. So how many of those can you feasibly have? Like you kind of need 2 aspects to get that rolling. So I'm gonna say it's cool. I think it's just okay. Like, I think it is neat that you can like barrage a Luke or something, but like, how often is that happening? You know, I think that there's too many qualifiers here. And I was actually pretty fair in these. I only called 3 leaders trash, and honestly, 2 of them are probably not like, they're probably just cool. But yeah, I think this is where I'm at with it. Like, I think these 2 are very clearly good. I think like Kylo is probably honestly like here, but I just love him. I think these are powerful. But to me, he's really fun. He's gonna get the most fun award for sure. Making him like all powerful is pretty sick. Yeah, this is where I'm at with it. I think that, you know, going into set 5 and going into Worlds, like every time we see this, like 1 or 2 leaders kind of come out of nowhere or like rise into the meta, and then like maybe other ones trickle in as like we figure out what the meta is. And that's kind of what some of this stuff is like, okay, we have a picture of things now, where can we slot these people in? But just like show up first day at like the first tournaments, I kind of think it's going to be slim pickings, and these 2 seem to be the best ones. I'm sure that people are gonna have their Kit Fisto decks and their Cal decks. Rey is clearly like the pits. Darth Maul's only cool because it's Darth Maul. I like Kanan more here. yeah, like I think this is where it's at. Hit me in the comments below with your takes, and I had a lot of fun digging into this. Thanks to Just Jack for hitting me with the tier list. Go check out Golden Dice if you haven't already. All right, I gotta get to work. Peace.